All right, guys, let's get into this. You know, I like to keep things simple, and I've got two ways to classify my real estate investing: long term passive income and quick flip properties. But there's a third outcome that doesn't get talked about much, and it doesn't happen often. But when it does, you'll be glad you watched this video because it's kind of like a game of hangman. And it's when a seller backs out of a deal and a seller goes ghost. And even though we can't control the sellers, we can control how we respond to what the seller does. And my response is basically, I'm going to be getting $700 an hour for a few hours of work. And I want you to be able to do it as well. So let's get into this. Have you ever had a seller sign your offer to purchase and then stop all communications? Ignores your calls, it texts, goes silent, goes ghost. What do you do? And if it hasn't happened to you, what will you do? Write it off as a cost of doing business? Pester them until you get bored and give up? Most investors cry, complain, and move on. You know, I've had this happen to me so many times, and I've tried all those options, but none of them worked until I found a solution, a protocol that turns a dead deal into a $2,000 paycheck, about 2 hours work, 3 hours work, no liars, no lawsuits, just the ghost protocol. And in this video, I'll give you that exact protocol. I'll unfold how and when to use it, explain why it's actually a healthy problem to have once in a while, and what I say along the way when a seller goes ghost, and the paperwork to bank a nice paycheck for your time and effort. So I don't want you to spin your wheels. I certainly don't. I want to be rewarded, compensated accordingly. And I found fair compensation to solve the ghosting problem is around $700. Depending on the purchase price, could be a lot more. We'll get into that. Any amount less than this isn't worth it to me, and any more is increasing pushback. So if you think $700 is a lot, just consider you're getting paid because you have specialized knowledge. And for perspective, specialized knowledge roles that command $700 an hour are 13-year degree professions like surgeons, C-level business execs, and top attorneys. Now, the GHOST protocol gives you that combination of specialized knowledge, business sense, the law, and an efficient template so you can get this done quickly. So here's a real life example on how this works. I had a seller come in from my lead generation engine, and on the call, I completed my deal maker diagnostic, which showed the property was a great opportunity for a subject to, and then quick flip it. So the seller agreed to my verbal offer over the phone, and we set a time for me to come out to his property just to verify the property condition, and in the case of a subject to, I need to verify the original loan documents. Do not go out to the property unless you are almost 100% sure that that seller is ready to sign if you want to sign. I told the seller if the condition is as he described, we could sign the purchase agreement on the spot. I got to the property, went through the inspection protection checklist, and everything looked good. So I told him we could move forward. He was actually thrilled because he was close to losing the house. So I got the house buyer purchase agreement, went through it. It's an easy one-page, simple to understand form. Went through it with the seller line by line as I filled it in. Gave him a carbon copy and a $10 earnest money check, and then explained the next steps, what to expect. I schedule showings. I assured him there's a good reason for it. We want to move this along quickly. It's in his best interest to do so. And for context, just so you know kind of how my office is structured, how my system works, my buying system. Back in my office, all signed purchase agreements become deals. So the last step of the inspection protection is, if a purchase agreement is signed, move that lead to the deal folder, and then assign a new deal checklist to that folder and start it. So one of the first steps on the new deal checklist is to market it immediately. As soon as we get the data, a price range, we don't even have to pick a price yet. I want those people to know how to see it and how to apply for it, and then we blast them. Voicemail, email, maybe both, with general information. Here's a philosophy that's done me real well. Consider this for your business. Treat all new deals and vacancies like emergencies. Me and my team, We are fast and furious like we need to put out a fire when we have vacancies and new deals. So as soon as I get a purchase agreement signed, we start the marketing and schedule showings, whether the place is occupied or not, for both rentals and flipping. And I email my big buyers list and rental list. So in this seller example, we got enough interest in 4 days to hold a showing. So I emailed the seller. The date, no word back. I called and left a message. Hey, I'm calling to confirm that showing date. Leave me a message back to confirm. No response. At this point, when a seller stops communicating, I do two things before implementing the ghost protocol. Number one, I call the seller, leave a message if needed, if I don't get them. And I say this, and you'll be able to download this script in the ghost protocol download package. So you don't need to screenshot it or anything, but do say this just like it is. It's concise, it's professional. Don't wing it. There would be a lot of stammering and ahs and ums and just that's not what you're going for. That's not what you want. So leave this message to him. And then number two, if no response still, and I still want the property, I'll make a one-time in-person attempt at the property to determine what the problem is because I really want to know. I'll go to the property and basically say the same thing you just seen in the voicemail. I'll be calm and cool. I'll let the seller do the talking because I just want to make sure that there wasn't a missed communication or a mess up on my end. Something went into spam. Something got deleted. Maybe they got the wrong number. That's happened before. In our example, the seller answered the door. He said he no longer wanted to sell. He just flat out said it. He's going to work something else out. Even though he was real close to losing the property, you'll see how this unfolds. And he said he didn't understand what he signed, so his attorney told him the agreement was void. Bullshit. I do steps 1 and 2, so I know for sure that the seller deserves the ghost protocol and I deserve to get paid. In this case, I did, and he did deserve it, the ghost protocol. So I view all forms of court as a huge time waster. It is not investing, going to any type of collection, back rent damages, suing for specific performance. Super hard, very expensive, rarely works out in anyone's favor except the attorneys. And then I got to put my shoes on, which I don't like to do. And I got to deal with attorneys, which I don't like to do. So totally not my vibe. In fact, this is coming up here, guys. This video case study, I barely made myself go to court for a seller back out with a $200,000 profit. It's a lakefront multi-use property. The seller flat out told me he got $50,000 more than my offer, and he's not selling. So I'll be sharing that with you, and actually how I got a zero out of pocket. And so subscribe so you get it when it hits. But 99% of the time, almost always, instead of court, I use the ghost protocol. I take 5 minutes out of my day. I complete the one-page affidavit to protect my position, and then either me or my assistant will record it. So here's the kind of this description and what an affidavit is. It's an affidavit equitable interest. It's recorded down at the courthouse to put the world on notice that you've got an interest in the property, and it clouds the title so the public knows that here's a person who's got an interest in that property. It does not have to be signed by both the buyer and the seller. So my affidavit is simple, 6 blanks to fill in. And then it's filed. And the affidavit simply states, look, me and the seller, we entered into a purchase agreement on this date. I'm a ready, willing, and able buyer, ready to complete my end of the agreement. And I've got this interest in this property. And this is one of the rare times I will have my phone number in a recorded document, of course, my office number, because you want them to be able to contact you so they can pay you, which they will do. You'll see in a moment. So the affidavit doesn't keep the seller from backing out. It just creates a roadblock if they attempt to sell to someone else or refinance the property. They can't until they pay you for your time and effort. So here's the steps. I won't go through them all because it's in the download package, but here's the few things you do want to do just for your backup in case you didn't think about it. You want to screenshot all the communications, note the dates and times, and then keep the contract secured. Probably scan it and keep it in your backup because these are the things that you may need to get paid. And then just wait for a call from the mortgage broker, closing agent, a realtor, even sometimes the seller, to make this recorded document go away. At some point, you don't know when, you pop up and it throws everything into a tangled mess. And that's what it's designed to do. You'll get a call from the seller or his team, none of whom will be happy. It's not your concern. Your concern is to make the case why you suffered loss and were harmed. If you skip this, the seller could think your payoff is out of line. $2,000 for 2 hours work? He might not know it's 2 hours work, but So again, say this scripted. Don't wing it. The reason you suffered loss and harm begins like this. Look, seller or closing attorney, you signed a legal binding agreement and I have every right to buy the property. Because you defaulted, I could sue for specific performance and damages. My damages for compensation are $12,000 profit my records show I could have earned, or if you spoke with the seller about maybe being a rental, I could have earned X amount of rent, made $12,000 per year. In lieu of my gain, to simply make this go away, I will accept payoff of $2,100. Key point right here, say that $12,000, you want to say that first. Don't bring up your ransom yet. Say the high number, it makes the low number look lower. So $2,100 doesn't seem like much compared to your loss of $12,000 profit. So about after 2 months, this back out seller, he told me, who said he wasn't interested in selling, I got a call from his angry mortgage broker saying that he couldn't do his job because my recorded document clouded the lien. The point of me recording the document, I said to him, again, say this scripted, I will send you a copy of the purchase agreement for your record that your client signed 2 months earlier and a routing number to wire me $2,100 for my losses. And I put in here, you could have them mail it, but usually these things are on a timeline. Like there's a rate lock-in, right? There's a closing, you're pre-approved for this amount of time, and people want to move things quickly. A wire is almost always how I've done it, unless, and I'll say this in a little bit about possible alternative endings. So in exchange for that $2,100, Mr. Mortgage Broker, I'll provide a notarized release of lien to get this cloud off this title. And then later that day, I did receive an email from the broker saying the wire would hit my account by close of day. It did. The next day, I printed out that release, signed it in front of a notary, and I also, there at the bank, met the broker, handed him that release. So he went downtown and recorded it. So alternatively, I've had this happen where you can mail the release to whoever needs it. For an out-of-town deal, I've done this a couple times where the homeowner transferred, and where he's at, his mortgage broker was at also, but the house is still back here. So I went downtown, recorded the release myself, emailed them the receipt of the recorded release to the person who needed it. And don't be shy about going even bigger. Look, the $2,100, it could go a lot higher than that if you think the deal is worth it. If the purchase price is high, if we're talking several $100,000, this price was $300,000. So yeah, I probably could have went higher. Here's a couple things that I either never did or don't do, and I don't recommend you doing either. I don't file an affidavit on every seller that backs out. Look, guys, bad things happen to bad people. We're in the people business as much as the property business. A lady says, hey, Scott, I know we entered into this agreement, and the neighbor has been talking to me for months about buying the place. He never had the money until now. He is a great guy. I know his family. I would love him to have the property. Would you be terribly upset if we canceled this agreement? Actually, I canceled it because it wasn't a stellar deal. And she came to me and just said this, like person to person, mature adult, let's talk. No problem, I'm not in the ransom business. This isn't my job to shake people out of money like this. So another couple things I don't do. I don't have the seller sign it at closing, at the purchase agreement signing. Some some investors do. There's a reason that we could get into about doing it for a subject to deal. I don't do it. I don't escalate any attempts to contact them. I don't do any of these things. Try contacting them through a different method. Before I did any of this stuff, I would hire a skip tracer and an attorney. So drive to the property. Yes, I do, but I don't do these things here. I don't file anything or take a photo with a timestamp. None of this. So I'm just putting this up here so you know that it's an option if you want to do it, if you need to do it, if something calls for it and you don't got the money to go to court or you don't want to go to court, but you do want to escalate these things here are actually legitimate actions you could take. I ain't got time for it. It's just not investing. So, look, I started building this protocol back 20 years ago when I first had it happen. From then on, I've just been improving it. And if you're thinking that the paperwork and running around isn't worth it, you are exactly right. I completely agree. You're my kind of guy because I don't do it either. I smart source it to my personal assistant. My two favorite PAs are purchase agreement and personal assistant. And instead of paying an attorney to do it, I pay her, saving me $300. So each state differs a little. So I'm going to give you the template. You take it and then fill it in. And then that's like a track to run on. You've got it from there on out. You can make adjustments because it seems like government's always changing a little bit of things here, and you got to put in this verbiage here. Swear that you redacted all Social Security numbers. So the courthouse ladies are always so good about walking you through what needs to be done. Just update your system every now and then. So included in the Ghost protocol is a template that you can use, and you can get this and start your own Ghost protocol to put this into action. And then just add in the steps that come up every once in a while. Here's the end goal. Guys, you want to be able to hand the process, and this is like every process in your business, hand that process over to your assistant and have her do most of it. I never have outsourced the inspection protection. I go up and I do that. Everything else, this stuff can be done by her. So I won't read this, but this is included in your download, all the steps to record your affidavit. Surprisingly, getting ghosted occasionally is actually a healthy problem to have. If you never have this problem, it may mean you're offering too much or you're not doing enough unconventional deals. So when you are ghosted, definitely use it as a learning opportunity. Ask the seller, was there some kind of confusion in the terms, or what happened? Why did it fall apart? Then you can explain the terms better next time. You can put something into your process. You can take a clause out of the purchase agreement that's freaking people out maybe. Maybe it's totally normal to you, but maybe the verbiage is odd to them. And then, of course, you can dial in your irresistible offer. It's not just about price, guys. You are offering so much more than anyone else in the field. A professional house buyer can make things happen, get things done that no one else can do, and you need to be compensated accordingly. So you want to stress that. It's not just about price. It's about other things here. And you get to those other things, those hot button issues, by doing that deep dive discovery on the phone with them, finding out their hot button, asking, why now? This problem's been going on for 6 months. Why right now? Then you use that in your irresistible offer. I just wanted to circle back to, I mentioned earlier, we blast out the renters and buyers list. When the deal goes ghost, this is our reply to all those people to let them know the home's not available. Our houses go fast. Get instant notification before we advertise it to the public. Get on our homes hot list, and then check out these homes available to see if they meet your criteria. So the Ghost Protocol, yours to download. You get everything we just talked about. And I'm putting it in both areas here because, as I mentioned, the Ghost Protocol works for the passive income rental buying of your business. It also works for the flipping side of your business. So I'm putting it in both of these links. So down below, there'll be a link to Passive Income Barefoot Millionaire and How I Flip Houses. You'll be able to get the Ghost Protocol at both places. All right. I just wanted to say I have dozens of these little profit centers, like the Ghost Protocol, and they fire off just all the time. It seems like multiple streams of income, and very little input or effort from me. And some of these paydays are, a couple $1,000s, but some are 5 figures, like the way I sell houses. And after uh, after we sell a house, we have the after sale checklist where we've got the phantom flip. That makes me almost as much as the house we just sold. So if you want help building systems like this, multiple streams of profit centers, if you want help attracting more leads, more buyers, more sellers, buying property with little or no money down, like I do, like I have done, 40 over 4,000 with no money, no credit, no bank, or creating more time in your business so the business runs on a conveyor belt of processes that aren't reliant on you. I have opening for one more of this month, so you get me and my stuff basically in my coaching program. Here it is. The attraction phase, the attraction pillar. This is how I generate leads galore. It's my $1 million marketing without the cost. It's a lead generation engine. And then convert them to happy clients. And I do that with the offer chassis. And then finally, the delivery. Deliver your services at scale using the Business Power Pro. Systems for an awesome business and lifestyle. Guys, this works in all niches, all markets, because it's rooted in human psychology and proven business fundamentals. So, with that, I just want to thank you guys for watching this, and I would love to have you subscribe because I put a lot of time and effort into this video, as you can probably tell. So it would just go a long way and mean a lot if you would consider subscribing. I will talk to you guys next time.